But I just want to go over a little bit about tomorrow. Then I'm going to open up to questions because I figure you probably have lots of questions, and that way I can figure out what you are interested in knowing about the open source alternatives rather than me just talk about the ones that I mainly use. But tomorrow we're going to be installing Linux. I'm going to play around and show you how to get around some compatibility issues that exist in using LibreOffice. I'm going to show you how to use the GIMP to create some web graphics. And there's a company that's just recently coming in there in a beta right now called PHP Fog. Anyone here heard of Heroku for Ruby on Rails? Okay, just a few. PHP Fog is like the Heroku for PHP. It's a deployment. You use Git to deploy your PHP apps in the cloud. And if all goes well, they've promised me license of free, like some free. What's the one I'm going to use? Free trials to anyone here that wants one tomorrow for installing some apps. And we're going to go over Sugar CRM, Joomla, Drupal, and WordPress just to kind of show you how easy it is to install these, set them up, kind of really go through them. I'm also going to load up new cache and show you guys how you can use that to set up accounts and stuff like that. So write down my email address. If you want the free PHP Fog account tomorrow, send me an email with the subject Posscon and try to do it in the next couple hours so I can get it to them before it gets too late. And they're going to try to have the passcodes back. I'm assuming they'll email them straight to you by tomorrow. So make sure also, if you want to come to my workshop, you have a laptop, and you might want to go ahead and put some of the software on ahead of time just so you can follow along. And with that, I'm just going to stop talking directed. And if anyone has any questions about software, open source alternatives to anything you use, ask me and I'll see if I can come up with an answer. Yeah?
Can you talk more about Django as a framework?
From the little that I've used it, it's pretty cool. It uses the MVC, so it feels a lot like Ruby on Rails or using some of the PHP frameworks like CodeIgniter. And yeah, I mean, I've not had a whole lot of time to go much beyond Hello World myself right now, but my playing around with it, it seems like it's pretty cool. I'm basing my it's cool on my experience with Ruby on Rails and some other MVC frameworks with PHP that it seems to be close to.
So if you wanted to build a new web application, how would you make the choice between going, lamp, PHP, MySQL versus Ruby on Rails versus Posscon?
My personal criteria has to do with the client's time. If it looks like they need something and they need something up really fast, I'm probably going to revert to PHP. I've been doing PHP for about 6 years, and that's my strength. I do have one client that doesn't have a big rush, and I'm doing a site for them on Ruby on Rails so that I can get a good Rails site out, in addition to the few I already have. But that's how I personally would choose. I would base it more on my strengths, unless the client already had some history. Maybe they've already had their website done in PHP. Maybe they have a couple of guys that are familiar with it. That down the line, it would be easier for them to use X framework. So just like that. That's.
Big issue that I know a lot of people have to say, certain websites are built on Internet Explorer 6. I know like one bank I have, you can't log in unless you have it.
Yeah.
How do you get around people saying, oh, I don't know anything about Firefox?
Well, there's a couple ways around that. I mean, obviously, if you're running Windows, you're going to have Internet Explorer anyway. There's actually several plugins for Firefox that will actually open an instance of Internet Explorer in a Firefox tab. So when you get to a website that you can't open in Firefox, you can tell it to open in Internet Explorer. I just wouldn't use a bank that required me to use something as awful as Internet Explorer 6. But there's, if the website will not open, you can try to trick your user agent. You can go in, there's Firefox plugins that will let you modify your user agent string. And if the only thing stopping it is a JavaScript or a server check to see what the server what the user agent is on the browser, then yeah, you can get around it that way. But if it's that they're actually using technology, exactly, yeah. If they're using something like that, that's, you mean, you can do that too. And yeah, Wine is an alternative. And I think there's actually, what is it, IE for Lin?
Yeah.
That sets it up automatically, yeah.
And there's also, I mean, if you're looking at client, you control the server, there's always Web 2. And the Google Web Toolkit will actually allow you to actually make a web page that's designed for all the browsers out there.
Yes.
Say if you sold about PHP framework, what, industry companies, what do they have in typically? What kind of services or APIs?
Well, I guess it's going to depend. It's going to differ. Usually they give you the database for starters, a way to connect to the database. A lot of them give you other tools like logins, registration, plugins that you can utilize. The thing that I utilize the most when I'm using a framework is just the MVC. I like the separation of my model, my view, my controller, like that.
What about stuff for message pass?
I don't have very much experience with that. But from just seeing what's available out there, most of the frameworks should probably have some. Zen for sure is going to have some plugins in the Zen framework. They're probably one of the biggest names in PHP, and they'll definitely have some modules within their framework that would assist in that. Yeah.
I just wanted to share one website that really helped me out.
Uh-huh.
Which is osalt.com.
Yes.
Yeah, so if anybody are familiar with a open source program like Posscon or QuickBooks or whatever, you get to go over there and type whatever software you're using now, and you can get all the alternatives from that open source.
Absolutely. There's,
David, you might want to repeat that so the whole room could hear that.
yeah, it's
OSALT.
that's right. Yeah, I've heard of that one. OSALT, is it .org? .com. So OSALT.com, just to kind of give you alternatives to the various open source packages. Yes.
For business, you might want to take a look at OpenERP.com, which is a complete ERP system.
Right. Okay. Oh, yeah,
Repeat it.
OpenERP.com. Yes.
Beginning of your talk, you talked about open office being compatible with Microsoft Document.
Right.
I use both, and I use VLOOKUP and advanced filtering
Mm-hmm.
with Excel and with open office. And if you have advanced filtering in Excel, you switch over to open office, or you use that in open office to go back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
They are not fully compatible because they do advanced filtering differently. I know that's probably an esoteric point, but if you
Mm-hmm.
do that, it's trying to work. You're going to send that spreadsheet to somebody who uses Microsoft, and they split it to a PDF file so they can do it. You can't have to copy that, copy after.
Sure, yeah. But yeah, he does make a good point. There are a lot of features in Excel that aren't going to go back and forth between open office. But-
Most everything does.
yeah.
Never used it, but I understand some company from Washington created software called Access that people have said is great. I played around a little bit with it, really cheaper since '98 when I was doing desktop, and I've never found it an easy to use database software package. Without knowing databases, you can just go ahead and create what you need and make it work for you. Do you have any information about that?
I'm going to have to say that's one point I kind of agree with. I know that OpenOffice took a stab at something similar to that, but it didn't seem, as far as I could tell, to really pan out. So that is one area within Microsoft Office. There's not a replacement for Access.
Maybe like PHP migrate.
Hmm?
K-Office going anywhere with FD, or they were doing something for a while. K-Office,
Anyone here familiar with KD? I use GNOME. I'm not really. The K-Office, yeah.
they had a database program called KEXI,
KEXI?
and it looked really good, but it wasn't very far developed, so I don't know where it's at now.
I've not even heard of that. I'm definitely going to check it out. I would think that if it had matured enough to take on Access, it probably would have been in all of the Linux news circles.
Over there to the right, Jim had something.
I just wanted to say that if you were just looking for like a front end, a really nice user front end for managing, like a MySQL server, PHP Migrate, which is a PHP app, basically does that for you. Makes it really easy as an administrator to add tables, add databases, export data to and from Excel, sheets if you need to, or comma separated table, format stuff like that. Just a nice, it provides a nice, clean mechanism rather than having to go in and actually change the MySQL. They can really offer good.
PHP MyAdmin.
Yes, PHP, MyAdmin.
That won't help you with the front end, but in front of the user stuff. It's every bit as good as Access in my opinion for getting a graphical method of just seeing the layout, the relationship between the tables, setting them up, seeing your indexes, but it won't help you with the front end and putting end users in front of, unfortunately.
Can't speak negative. Yeah.
Is that it? Any more questions? How about a round of applause then?